Sorry. Hello and welcome to Soul Elevation, guiding your ascension to new heights. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and I'm so excited to be here with you today on Friday, December 12th. It's 12/12. I actually didn't think about that before we went live. We're in the 12/12 portal. So that's exciting. And I, before I forget, I want to let you know that yesterday I created a new YouTube channel called Soul Elevation Clips. And I've got a link there in the show notes. I'd love for you to subscribe to that. I'm taking my shorts off of this channel and putting them on that channel. So this channel will remain and it will just be full length. It'll be all the full interviews. It'll be these lives. We'll go through this channel. And then I like to do those little shorts if you just need like quick hits of inspiration. You're waiting in line for something or whatever, and you just want something to engage with that's short. So that's where you can find that. So please subscribe to that Soul Elevation Clips. And on that topic of standing in line and occupying yourself, that is something to think about. We do tend to grab our phones and try to be distracted and fill every single minute of the day. And as I was giving that example of, oh, you're in line, the bigger part of me was like, if you're in line, take the opportunity to just come into your being. Just notice, like, come in inward and don't pick up your phone. Don't let yourself be distracted. Really use that time to breathe and connect. We have these little moments in the day where we can connect with ourselves, connect with God, and we sometimes, I think more and more we're just in the habit of filling that time. Let me just get on Instagram. Let me get on YouTube. Let me check my email, whatever, and filling up those little opportunities. But you have these times sprinkled into the day that can be used to connect with your soul. So I do encourage you to take those opportunities to connect deeper with yourself. Sorry, I've been taking this homeopathic remedy for a while. And one of the things with homeopathy is that it can bring up old symptoms. And I am having this old symptom, this thing that used to happen to me all the time for years and years and years, where I would have this lingering, dry, unproductive cough. I have not had these symptoms for years, and they're coming in. I'm having it again. So I'm really fascinated because of this chelated homeopathic remedy. I really do feel like it's getting some deep things to the surface, and I'm revisiting this old symptom that I used to have year upon year upon year, multiple times a year. And so that's interesting. Any homeopathy fans out there might know what I'm talking about there, but I am working on detoxifying some heavy metals out of the body. And sometimes when we actually have symptoms, that's a good sign. So I'm interested in it, but it does mean that I get this little cough that sometimes is disruptive. And then the more I put my attention on it, the more I'm fighting it. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today is the chakra system and how it connects to our ability to manifest. And when I say our ability to manifest, that's not even accurate, because you are a living being and you are manifesting whether you mean to or not. So a lot of times when we think about this word manifestation, we think of what we want to bring into our lives, what our desires are, how to create, how to actually experience what it is that we desire. And that applies to what I'm going to talk about too. But I also want to broaden manifestation so that you're thinking of it not just in terms of how can I create more abundance, or how can I get in a relationship, or whatever it might be, how can I get a different job. Those are all valid things to think about with manifestation, but you are manifesting all the time and your life is proof of it. So everything that you're experiencing in your life is your manifestation. So the opportunities that come in, whether you tried to create them or not, the challenges that are coming in, whether you feel like you have any responsibility for them or not, all of these things are manifestations. You are creating your life as you go, even if you don't feel like you are. Because everything that we're doing, our thoughts inform our words and our actions, and all of it lines up. And everything does begin with thought in our manifested reality. Thought is the first form. And you can think of that as it's the least dense, right? Our thoughts are the least dense part of us. The least, you can't see them, you can't touch them. They come and go. They can might be fleeting, but our thoughts are this very etheric part of us. And from those thoughts, we create ideas. So ideas can be thought of as like this let's see, how am I trying to say it? Coalition of thoughts that kind of group together, and then you might have an idea. And so then we might speak that idea. And so then it becomes even more dense. So we can think of this kind of like thoughts being dispersed and being kind of more spread out. They come together as an idea. They start to kind of solidify and gain some mass. Then we might speak the idea. So it's getting more dense. That your ability to form words is taking those thoughts and ideas, condensing them even further so that they can be spoken, or writing them down into, those can be thought of as symbols. We're writing them, we're kind of anchoring them more into our reality. And when we think about the chakra system, we're moving down the chakra system as we do this, as I'm talking, right? So the ideas are more, associated with kind of the ethereal or the collective consciousness. They're coming in, and then as we speak them, then we're coming into the throat. And then we can take, the next step would be taking action. So that's where we're starting to use our body. We're going lower and deeper. And excuse me, as we use our body in creation, then things start to form in our physical reality. So whether that is, let's use the example of a piece of art, but this can be anything. It can be a project. It can be steps that you are taking, ideas that you have to get into a relationship, to find somebody who you want to spend time with. You may have some thoughts that come up, and then well, I could ask my friends if they know anybody. I can go on online dating sites. I can join some groups where I might find like-minded people. All of these kind of ideas start to come together thoughts come together to form ideas. And then you might speak and start formulating with your words that this is what you desire, and these are some ideas that you have to get to that. But you need to actually take action. Nothing's going to happen if you don't embody the ideas, speak what you want to manifest, and take action. I think that a lot of times when we think about manifestation, so we might think of like The Secret, or some of the other tips and tricks out there, or tools that are focused on creating something that you desire. There is a mental component, and the mental component can be a really powerful part of that. The more you are able to focus your thoughts on what it is that you want, the more you're able to really zero in and kind of corral your thoughts toward that desired future, the more powerful it is. But you can't negate your part of it. It can't all happen up here. You are a part of this creation. You have a body, you have a human life, and you are a fundamental way that you manifest. So you need to pay attention to those thoughts that become ideas, but don't let it stop at the idea. Then you're just kind of living up in the upper chakras and you're not bringing it excuse me. Let me take a drink real quick. Sorry about that. We need to utilize the body and these lower chakras. And when I say lower chakras, I don't mean from a hierarchy perspective. I don't mean worse, like lower, like worse. They're just the more physical. They're connected to our physical reality. So you've got the heart, then you have the solar plexus, the sacral center, and the root. And all of these are very human, like earthy. They're very connected to your earthy, solid 3D, 4D experience. So you want to get them in on the action. So when we have these thoughts and these ideas, you will naturally utilize the other chakras as you go about doing, right? So if you're creating, you'll get your hands involved. That's connected to your heart chakra. You're you're using your body, but you can even take the manifestation power deeper by bringing that idea down into your body so you can feel like the idea, as you're meditating, for example, if you can get that idea and feel that you are bringing it down into your body and utilizing those chakras and bringing it down the womb space, especially for women. Men also have creative force lower down in the body, but for women in particular, your womb space is a creative center. And we know this from the physical reality because life comes from the womb. And it's not just human life that comes from the womb, but your creative power also comes from the womb. So you can feel that you're bringing those ideas deeper down into your body, deeper down into your sacral center, into your womb center, and you can utilize your body. So, you can do that in meditation, but I would also encourage you to do some dancing while you're holding that, what you want to manifest in your womb, because that helps to stimulate that creative energy. So whether you want to put some music on and dance while you're just kind of holding the thought of what it is that you want to create, but you're kind of feeling like you're holding it in your womb space, or you can think about it as, okay, I'm focused on this idea and I'm also aware of my womb space, and that will get them kind of connected. You don't have to make it hard. Just keep it simple. Keep it in a way that it is easy for you to implement. And this also comes up with our spiritual work in general, whether it's manifesting or not. I know that early on in my spiritual awakening, one of the first groups that I was a part of, especially one teacher in particular. So maybe it's not fair to say this organization, but I know one teacher who was teaching about the chakras was pretty much just like, just focus on the third eye, the point between the eyebrows. Everything else will come into alignment from there. You don't focus on the lower chakras. You don't want to give them energy. You just want to you want to be in touch with your spiritual life and let go of the rest. And I accepted that at the time. And now I think that's really terrible advice because you are a complete and whole human who, as a soul, you chose to come here and experience a human experience. You are here in the physical world, and you can still be a spiritual being and have nice, healthy, aligned lower chakras. You want your whole chakra system to be infused with light and energy, balanced. You want, i- if you only live your life from your third eye or your crown, you're going to be disconnected of this life if you don't want too much energy anywhere. Just like, I think that the majority of the population is living with an over energized excuse me, root center. A lot of people are living in a lot of fear. They're unbalanced because they have so much energy down in their lower chakras, and they're not feeding their upper chakras at all. So they're dormant, they're listless, they're not part of the equation, and that means that they're, as a being, they're off balance. And so they would definitely benefit from getting some more nurturing up in those upper chakras. But you can go the other way where you're too focused on the spirit side and you're denying yourself this human side. You're not really, maybe you're not really on mission, because you probably came here to contribute. You probably didn't come here to deny your human existence and your body. You probably are here for a purpose. And if you're so focused on connecting with your soul and your spirit, but overly so that nothing else matters, then you want to think about, are you contributing? Did you come here for more? Did you come here to have your own experience, but it includes the human emotions and the human challenges and the human evolution? Because if you're looking at everything, there, you might be spiritually bypassing, is the really quick way to say that, where you're denying that you have a physical experience. You're telling yourself that nothing matters because it's all an illusion anyway, but you're maybe missing the whole thing that, hey, you're here and you came here on purpose, and you came to have the duality. You came to have that contrast. You came to overcome things. And you might be stuck in this, like, yeah, but it feels a lot better if I just, you know, astral project all the time and not really get involved here. So there might be something to look at there. In fact, I would say there is something to just the very fact that you're here in a human body tells me that you are here to experience the fullness, the full spectrum of the human experience. So don't deny yourself that, and don't tell yourself that your lower, the lower chakras are not important, that your physical experience is not important. It is very important. It's very important for your soul. So let's really seek out some balance there for that manifestation and just for the completeness of your human experience. So I think that's everything that I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for being here. I I really am grateful. Please do like and share and subscribe and all those great things. That really, really helps to get more content out there, so that content that is uplifting, that is serving people's soul nourishment, is able to be on the forefront, so that the algorithms know people want to see this and they put it in front of more people, and it will help more people to be able to embody their soul and to be seeing life from a higher perspective. So I thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I bless you, and I'll see you next time.